So what's going on, Mike?
Nothing, man. I'm just here, just staying on top of current events, man. And it's I don't know, it's just been a very interesting couple of days.
To say the least, you're absolutely right. The crazy thing was that CEO that got murdered.
Yeah, and it
Was that yesterday?
was yesterday morning.
What are your thoughts on that? Because when I heard the news, I was thinking about uh the previous CEOs that was in battle with a bunch of stuff, and people got mad and wanted to do something. So I was curious about this particular episode that somebody actually took the laws in their hands, and then the conspiracy theories just flying all over the place. So I was just curious about your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's well for me. I was in Manhattan on Monday, right? And being in Manhattan on Monday was, hold on a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, having a little technical difficulties, but we're all right. So, in being in Manhattan on Monday, obviously, I go to my orthopedic surgeon in New York. Um, so I'm very aware of the atmosphere of New York. So what was, craziest about the whole situation is that, New York is a city that's full of cameras, right? So when you think that you're going to pull off something like that, and knowing that you're going to be on camera, you know what I'm saying? Like a person to get away with something like that, which I don't know if they're going to get away, but apparently thus far they have. It's like so much thought would have had to went into that in order to be so meticulous, because you know that every step you take, a camera's picking you up, and that's
Yeah,
generally in New York City. That's generally how they solve the crimes.
yeah.
They follow the cameras step by step. They trace a person's steps all the way. And the craziest thing is that whoever did it, they knew that there's no cameras in Central Park
Hmm.
because that's where they disappeared.
It was crazy too, because I think the assailant was there all day, according to some witnesses. He was just
All night.
waiting
Yeah,
all
all
night.
night.
Okay, it was all night, he just
Yeah.
waiting for his target. And I think he had a look like a silencer. Was it a silencer he had on?
Yeah, they said that I seen the video, because the New York Daily News had got a copy of it first, I guess. And yeah, definitely had a silencer. Like I said, there was so much thought put into this that obviously this plan did not develop, you know, this plan did not develop overnight. You know what I'm saying? That means they knew where the guy was going to be. They knew that this meeting was going to take place because they were having their annual investors meeting. He was supposed to give a speech. It's 6:30 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy got a silencer, knowing, the technology that New York has. Not for nothing. A lot of people might not know this, but New York City has the biggest police force in the United States of America. So literally, there's an army of cops, especially where this happened. This is Midtown Manhattan, man. This is the epicenter of financial America. You know what I'm saying? And it's just it's crazy that in and out.
It's mind boggling, man. To go ahead to be covered up in mask, waiting there patiently, had a silencer, silencers get jammed up, fix that, blaze them up, and then go ahead and gets on the bike and disappears.
Yeah, I mean, well,
So,
that gives to the professional nature of the perpetrator, actually, because he was calm,
very calm,
you
very
know,
calm.
and you could tell that it was professional from the way that he was holding the gun.
Mm.
So you could tell if you've exercised your Second Amendment rights in this country, you've been to a shooting range, you know how you're supposed to hold that weapon. You've been told, people have guided you if you didn't know. And so he was fully aware. And the caliber of weapon that he used, of course, was a 9 millimeter, which I'm sure that they were aware that, one shot in that area where they shot him, which you seen him take aim, that it was going to kill him because he shot him on the side of his heart. So
Mm.
whatever was going on, you already know it was going to pierce the lungs, and cause the utmost damage. So
Did they say how many shots actually hit the
they said
CEO?
they said two, and they found three shell casings. But now's where things start getting funny, because I read one account where the bullets, the shell casings, not the bullets, the shell casings had words inscribed.
Really
Yeah, but there's two different accounts of what words were actually inscribed.
interesting.
So now it's I don't know if they're dramatizing the situation. I don't know what the media is doing. I don't even know if this is real. And the reason I don't know it's real is because, first of all, I'm not handling the forensic evidence, but you have two different accounts with, different words that they're claiming were inscribed on the shell casings.
What was the words that they claim was on the shell casings that if you
One account says deny, depose, and delay. And then
wow,
another one says deny, depose, and it was another word. Like the New York Daily News had one account, and then you have another media source that has a whole entire, I mean not entire, but a different account of the words that were inscribed. So I don't know where they're getting the information from, or if they're even checking for the legitimacy of what they're writing.
mm.
But I just know that sometimes, the media is good, the media is okay, but sometimes they start to take on, a breath of their own.
Yeah,
And then they start adding things to it because they know that this sells,
sensationalism.
right, this sells information. So it's like, don't start doing that, because now, this is a man is actually dead.
Yeah,
He has children, he has a family, regardless of however somebody feels, about the man. There's still people that are suffering from this traumatic experience.
absolutely.
So to start to turn it into a movie or a fictitious novel just because, people are enamored with, the Jason Bourne stories and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't start doing that. But that's what it was, man. And it's just it's crazy.
It is obviously, it's still new, still do a lot of investigation. But it leaves the mind to wonder why would somebody go ahead and get to that level of aggression and let loose on a CEO? And that could be, I mean, obviously right now, just go ahead and just making things up, kind of speculating because
Yeah,
I don't know, but it just is very intriguing, especially when you talk about CEOs in the past that have reached to that level of success, but yet knowing, and I'm not saying this is happening with the what's his name, Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO. I'm just talking about in the past with other CEOs that was at that reign, knowing that their products was causing damage to the public, going to like congressional hearings and lying to the, saying to the lawmakers
yeah,
and still putting in a bad product. And one of the ones that come to mind, I think it was in the 80s with the tobacco, the
definitely.
cigarettes. That was
Yeah.
like a real big one right there. So I was
Who
like, man,
Philip Morris.
yep,
And those cases, interestingly enough, one of the cases were in West Virginia at the time when I was there. The federal judge that he overseen that case in particular, it was obviously a class action suit. That was my judge as well. And so I was getting a lot of news about that case from the lawyers themselves. Um, but in this particular situation, there's a lot of other news that's interesting as well, because obviously it's all conjecture, it's all speculation.
Right.
We don't know. But what I do know is that last year, United Healthcare laid off all of its captive agents in New York City.
Mm.
And that was a hurt piece for the captive agents. Now, me, I was working for a primary care doctor's office at the time. And in working for the primary care doctor's office, our patient body were specifically Medicare recipients. So we dealt hand in hand with United Healthcare agents, Humana agents, Health First agents, all of these big time um, insurance companies. And so, we were mandated to partner with them so that we could receive referrals, direct referrals. So we did events with them. We because by license they're not allowed to approach the individuals. So we did the approaching since we were like the street team for the clinic. But I remember the day that happened, and UHC agents were unaware that that was going to happen
Mm.
because the day before we had a meeting because we were doing a health fair with United Healthcare as our partner. So I was headlining the health fair in Queens, and my guy called me that morning to tell me like, "Hey, Miguel, I got something hot off the press for you. United Healthcare just announced that they are laying off all of their captive agents in New York City." And so, I told my immediate supervisor, you know, because I had that confidence in him at the time, and he was like, "Nah, nah, nah, that's not true. That's not true. We just had a meeting with them yesterday." So nobody was aware.
Wow.
And then about 4 p.m., that news came in, and I mean, it was like an atomic bomb on the insurance industry
Wow.
because now all of them were out of work.
Mm.
Like, and you got, that's you have independent contractors, right? That work as independent brokers for insurance companies. Then you have captive agents. Okay. So the captive agent, that's their bread and butter. And a lot of these guys are living lifestyles that depend on that, that meal ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And to get laid off like that, and especially in a city like New York where things are so expensive,
Very expensive.
that yeah, that hurt, man. And because I remember the company that I was working for at the time, they took on a lot of these laid off captive agents. They gave them jobs, managers, because they already have a knowledge of the insurance game, the Medicare game, so they know how to lead teams that have to go out there and get Medicare referrals. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was a major thing. That was 2023, and I don't know how much, of course, that would have anything to do with this particular situation, but I just do know that United Healthcare was going through a few things over the past couple of years.
Yeah, but like the experience you brought up, I mean, that potentially could have happened in 2023. What happened yesterday? Somebody got laid
Without
off,
question.
what I'm saying, got frustrated, but like, oh nah. They ain't
I
gonna
mean,
give you, they
and
ain't
we,
gonna give you fair warning. I needed this
yeah.
money to pay bills. I said, nah, I need to go and handle something.
Right. Or it could have been something like, I mean, there's so many ways that we can go with
Yeah.
this, but, somebody's parent might have committed suicide,
Yep.
based on, losing everything, you know. I just had an agent contact me this morning that said that they were in fear of something similar happening with Aetna. And
Oh
so,
yeah, 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 yeah. I seen that one.
you know, And they were like, look, like they said, there's so many cuts gonna come January 1st. I'm scared that I'm gonna lose my job. You know, they
Yeah.
were like, I'm the breadwinner for my
Th-
family.
there was I think Aetna had a controversial cutback regarding anesthesia, if I believe. If the surgery that the patient is undergoing elapses a certain time frame,
Yeah,
then the insurance is not going to cover the remaining anesthesia. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy because it's going to have the doctors rushing to try to make that time that window.
my man, it's a lot. It's a
I was
lot
like, whew.
because not for nothing, Aetna, you know, and I'm only speaking from my experience
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I used when I was a manager of a team that had to know these things in order to educate the patient. And Aetna is actually one of the better, you know, providers of insurance plans. But people like UHC and things of that nature, they don't even pay for medically prescribed um, insulin shots.
Mm.
You know, those new, what are they called? Them pens that they use now?
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot what they call, but I know you're talking about.
Right. So that was a big selling point between Aetna and anybody else. They were
Okay.
like, look, Aetna even covers this under, you know, part whatever. And they were saying like UHC doesn't, you know, or they were saying Highmark Whole Care doesn't. So that's why we'd be more beneficial for you to sign on to one of our Advantage Care plans.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of, I mean, I was even thinking like, you know, yeah, I mean, there's all kind of stuff going on, but I would say that you know that is a main factor that has been brewing over the past couple of years. You know, and then you also have, I mean, not for nothing, you have your guy, not your guy, not per se. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me put that on you, but you got Putin, you know, over
Oh.
there as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, who knows, man? Those guys are so diabolical, man. They could fuck around and be like, you know, look, we're gonna put a hit out on all of their executives. You know, they want to intervene in what's going on over here. They want to give these guys weapons to bomb us. You know, we know that, you know, their strength is in their corporate America, you know? So there's a number of things that could be going on, man, because there's so much going on that
It
it's
is. And now the discussion again comes up to have universal health care such as Canada, and that discussion has been going on and on. So we'll see what unfolds when I start breaking down uh the motive for this tragic event to see if it was
yeah.
business, personal, or something even higher than our spectrum.
Yeah, well, they're definitely aiming towards political. They're
Yeah.
definitely aiming towards political motive. You know, a zealot maybe, you know, because they're saying that the shell casings had these words inscribed, you know, so I know that's the way the media is trying to drive it.
Yeah.
But
I I
yeah.
I was reading one of the comments and one of the articles I was reading regarding the situation. Uh and obviously they was just added their 2 cents. And it was like it could be that a patient was requesting I don't know, something to get covered, and obviously the company denied them and causing their family to really suffer and maybe pass away. So obviously
Well,
somebody
they
got upset to the point of like, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and plan this because this is ridiculous. So, but
yeah, I mean, I mean, the only thing that I have with it being that personal, which is possible, you know, if everything added up. You know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Because any given formula can produce an answer.
Yep.
And but or will produce, you know, an answer is that the meticulousness and the preparation of this thing. Remember,
And
he had a bike waiting for him.
the bike and like you mentioned he actually knew the door that he was exiting out of and the timing of that meeting. So
Yeah, or the
that's
door he
kind of
was entering, because the gentleman was
right.
entering.
Okay. So
Yeah, he did.
that's some information that not the public would have really known. So he had some type of insight.
And not only that, they have video footage of him on a cell phone
Right.
before the event took
Right.
place. So it's like he was fully aware that, there was just certain things in play already that you have to have a sound IQ of this particular profession of murder.
Yo, imagine that daggone there was somebody that was in the meeting. They were like, hey, we're about to be done this meeting. He about to leave here in a few minutes.
Well, no, 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 no,
Be ready.
no. It didn't happen like that. The
No, but it was
guy,
it was what it
it
was
was
like
6:30 a.m.
right.
He was entering.
Yeah. He was entering.
So the meeting didn't even start yet.
No. But I'm saying towards the ending
Towards the ending of what?
of the meeting.
The
I'm
meeting
saying,
never took place.
oh, the meeting never took place.
No,
Oh man.
that's why he was there. He was the meeting was that day.
Yeah.
And he got there early. I mean, he is the CEO. He's given a speech, and he never gave the speech because he never made it.
Mm.
And then they canceled the meeting actually
Okay.
because of
Gotcha.
what occurred.
Gotcha.
So, it's like somebody didn't want him to make that speech, obviously.
Yeah.
And but the things that were in place and the knowledge beforehand of everything. So one, that you can't have a gun that makes noise.
Yep.
Everybody, I mean, if you've ever even contemplated, something of this nature, not like this, but
Yeah.
you'll know that. And if you're from New York, like one, your gun can't make any noise
Yeah.
because they have devices in place that pick up the sound, right? The supersonic sound of the gunshot, and they narrow it down to a particular location of where the gunshots went off. And that's how police rush to those areas.
Mm.
So generally, those devices are in high crime areas or areas that need to be protected.
Mm.
So that's one. So the person already had to have known that because they had a silencer. And they know that if they have a silencer, that lengthens the time that they have to get away. Why? Because police are not rushing to the scene. They didn't hear bullets. Nobody heard shots. Then he runs away and already has a bike waiting for him.
Yeah.
And it's an e-bike. They said it's a city e-bike.
Yep.
The city e-bikes have GPS on them. Okay, so I've had the app before, so it'll tell you where the bike is at any given time. And then he went into Central Park, knowing that there's no cameras, where that's where anyone can go into the park and come out as anybody.
Yeah. He probably had a change of clothes over there somewhere.
He might
Change
have had
up.
it in. He might have had it in the book bag.
That's what I'm saying. He probably went to that area, just change up real quick and keep it
Yeah,
moving. Just migrate with the public. Come.
right. And so that's what for me like takes away the level because let's just if it was personal, you would have had to had and I seen the body structure of the individual where they look rather healthy.
Right.
So meaning that it might military type,
Yeah.
you know, and so there's a lot going on. The calmness,
The
you know,
calmness was like
yeah,
astonishing.
like right. It was professional. It was
Yeah.
professional. That means that this wasn't his first rodeo.
Yep.
And with that being said, generally the people that have that type of expertise, you know, are foreigners, foreign intelligence people, especially with the way it was carried out. I don't think it was something that personal as someone passing away and being upset about it because that's a crime of passion, you know? And generally this much thought and meticulousness and calm and control is not in those type of situations, you know?
Yeah, 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 definitely. Man,
Because even when Robert Kennedy Jr. was assassinated, right? That was a crime of passion. There wasn't too much thought put into it, and they've actually spoken. They've had interviews with Sirhan, the guy who committed that crime,
yeah,
and he spoke why he committed the crime, and he was talking about how he became, a zealot. How he was upset about what was going on in Lebanon, and the things of that nature, the war, and how America was supporting Israel, and so he carried out that crime, and it's almost like he wanted to get caught, like he didn't care.
right. Well, I want to say and bring attention to the situation.
Right. This individual obviously did not
Yeah,
does not intend to get caught.
right. Yeah, at all. Yeah.
you know?
Mm.
So, yeah, he put a lot of care into ensuring that his steps were covered on the outset, on the exit, you know?
I'm curious when the law enforcement tracks the e-bike that like the GPS and whatever information they're saying to use to rent out the e-bike to see if it comes back to any person.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing. That's another thing that in New York, the e-bikes get stolen all the time, And it's not a difficult thing to do. And the e-bikes are attached to individual accounts.
Right.
So if it is professional, if it is, something other than something personal, it's not hard to get an account for an e-bike, and it just falls off the map
Gotcha.
because they traced it all the way to Central Park, and that's it. Disappears.
Right, but I'm talking about the well, I know I hear where I'm at, Florida, certain places that had the where you swipe or that use the app,
Yeah,
it
this one
links
is
it
the
link
app.
yeah, it links to a bank account to take that money out. So that's why I was curious about that part. If
Yeah,
either did he do that, obviously use some type of bogus information, or did it was the
yeah.
bike
He
already stolen?
he could have, but the next problem is that law enforcement would possibly have is that there's so many uh online banking apps now
Mm.
that people don't need,
The
you know, ex-
verification.
yeah, they verify, but you don't need physical
Yeah,
verification,
that's what I meant.
because they'll verify you through an electronic device.
Right, 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 right.
And like what kind of a verification is that? That's how so many people was able to commit fraud with the Cash App and
Yeah.
you know?
And that's what I meant, having a bogus account, so that way he can just go ahead and do it, take it for a spin, and then drop it off.
Yeah, I mean, well, he had to have. I mean, I can't say that because I don't know, but I do know that law enforcement would know if he had an accomplice and how the bike got there,
Yeah, yeah,
because the bike was already there. He ran to the bike, got on the bike, dipped off. But they don't have images of him putting the bike there.
yeah. And that so that brings another good point. So as you suggested earlier, that in New York, it's not common for folks to go ahead and steal bikes. So if you got that bike out there in Central Park just waiting for you and nobody's touching that,
Yeah.
that's interesting too.
Yeah, they're gonna steal it. I mean, I've seen it too many times.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had my bike stolen.
Be
You
like,
know, so I don't know, man. It's just a lot of factors here. This is.
yeah.
I've never seen something of this magnitude.
No, 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 me either.
This is like straight out of a movie.
Yeah, not a CEO, obviously political figures, religious figures, stuff of that nature. You definitely read about it, seen it, but for a CEO, not in my lifetime. I didn't hear about it, so it's definitely new. It is intriguing. It's
Yeah,
very
this is.
intriguing.
That's what I'm saying. And then Midtown Manhattan. This is a novel, man.
Yeah,
This is a novel.
Yeah, shoot. That'd be packed out there, all them people out there.
Yeah, like come on, like this is Manhattan. Like
Yeah.
you would have thought. I mean, not for nothing. It's not like I think about these things often, but you you'd have been better off trying to catch him in Iowa or some shit where he's
Yeah,
from,
yeah, yeah.
or some other. But Manhattan, that's interesting. And whoever wanted it done, they knew he was going to be in Manhattan. They knew he was going to be there. The guy is not from New York City. He's not from Manhattan, so that means that he was debriefed on, you know, where he was going to walk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, I was thinking it was like an evening meeting. It was like a Zoom call or something, and the CEO gave his information or whatever his speech, and then wrote out. But you're saying he didn't even make the speech.
Nah,
That's
6:30 a.m.
wild. I didn't know it was
Yeah.
that early. I thought it was in the evening. Sheesh.
6:30 a.m. There were vehicles already waiting outside, Uber drivers, to pick people up because they know it's a hotel. They said that they seen him there damn near all night long. They seen him on the corner, but we know that some of those accounts are not realistic.
Yeah,
They're like New York City observations.
yeah,
And what
yeah,
I mean by that is people rarely pay attention to shit that's going on because there's so
yeah.
much going on. And they have video footage of him going to Starbucks. They have video footage of him walking down the street on a cell phone. So, but the people that were there said that, he was waiting on the corner, for the majority of the night.
Mm. Yeah, I did see a couple. I wouldn't say that, and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, what was you doing that you had that much free time to notice that this
Yeah,
individual wasn't?
right. You're sitting there all night too.
Yeah, I said, what are you doing? Yeah, so I that one was like, okay,
Yeah, and then another account, the guy says, "So I heard the shots, and then he ran that way." No, you didn't hear the
yeah, yeah,
shots. You lying motherfucker. You see, and
yeah,
that's the problem that
yeah,
that
yeah,
that
yeah,
comes
yeah,
with these cases.
yeah,
How much validity can you give to his statements
yeah.
when the world knows that he had a silencer, the whole world except for you, and you're sitting here saying you heard shots.
And then be like, yo, follow me on this account.
You know what I'm saying?
Trying to get the 3 seconds of shame of fame or shame, regardless.
Yeah, you heard shots, and that's the one thing in the beginning when I first read the story. That was the first thing that they said that they were surprised of that they didn't hear any shots,
That's
and then when they seen the video, they seen that he had a silencer,
yeah,
and then the plot just kept thickening and thickening and thickening and thickening, and it's like, oh shit.
yeah.
But yeah, man,
We'll see,
very
man. We
yeah,
we we will see because it's gonna be a lot of questions. Meat is gonna be trying to figure things out, ask a lot of questions. Obviously, law enforcement will do more investigation and to see what evidence comes out of it.
yeah,
And
and
I'm
and the crazy thing is it starts to turn political. What I mean by that is that now you get people that start giving answers that they think the public wants to hear and
yeah,
things of that nature. And it's like, they're talking about we're combing the city for the killer.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
thinking to myself, like, yo, you don't see all the energy that this motherfucker put into
yeah,
not getting caught.
yeah,
Do you really think that he's even in New York City?
yeah,
You know how simple it would have been at that time in the morning for him if he had somebody pick him up in a car to get to the tunnel to get the hell out the city.
yep,
The tunnel is right there.
yep.
So, and then once he's out the city, all you got to do is keep going and keep going and keep going. And then, the trail just turns to nothing, you know?
That's wild, man. So we'll see, man. Obviously, our ears and eyes gonna be tuned in. So it'll be more information to discuss in the future. So,
Definitely.
but yeah, man, much appreciated, man. We'll have some more discussions. I,
Anytime. I'm all over it. You
I,
hit me.
hey, I know it, man. I know it. It was
I'm
nice, man.
all over.
Definitely, man. I hit you up on the re.
All right, brother. All
All right, peace.
right, peace.